Well, good morning, everybody. Today is a really messy day. I had an appointment this morning to go get tires on the truck. Unfortunately, when I got there, I didn't pay attention to the order. I know I put a specific size in that I wanted to order, but somehow they sent the wrong tires. And even when I double checked the order for my search, I did have the right size in the search, but yet somehow in the checkout, it changed the size of my tires. So unfortunately, did not get tires done this morning. But as I had scheduled my appointment to be able to get my tires done, they were calling for freezing rain this morning. Well, I just got done having to pretty much crawl from the truck back to the house because what did I forget? I forgot my cleats. So, but as of right, it's still raining. It is still freezing. And the only reason why I made it into my driveway is because luckily I had cleats to be able to sit there and open my shipping container, and I was able to get to my sand and throw some sand down. So I threw some sand down across here and just right out front, so that way I could at least get the truck, to have some traction and to be able to get the truck into the driveway. So yeah, that's that was entertaining in itself. I know that you guys probably would have laughed if you would have been able to see that, especially trying to just watch me stand. I mean, it's comical when anybody sits there, struggling like that. Everybody probably gets a kick out of it. I get a kick out of it myself. It happened to me. But I am going to attempt to try to get further onto my off-grid system. For the most part, I have everything hung here. So I do need to get the other 3 copper plates drilled, which, by the way, when it comes to the copper plates, what you had saw me do in the video the other day is I took a screw and I had pretty much made an indentation in the copper plate. So that way the drill bit will actually sit and stay in place when where you want to drill your hole at. Now, the size hole that I need to drill, so that way I can get the copper plate over the studs on the batteries, was a 5/16 metal bit. Now, you can take going back to where you sit there and you make a spot, so that way the drill bit ain't sliding around. Because you probably noticed my first drill, I sat there and just scored it and tried holding it in place, and I was all over the place with the first hole. But after that, that's when I used the screw because I did not have a punch. But one thing that I sat there and was thinking about is I could have taken a Phillips head screwdriver, or a nail. Or if you do have a punch, just use a punch and just sit there and just knock that spot, so that way it puts a nice indentation right there to hold your bits in place. That way you'll be able to sit there and drill through the copper a lot more easily. Because if you don't, then you're just all over the place, and it can become a pain and become a mess. So, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I have punches now. And I'm going to go on ahead and ping those, so that way I can get the drill bits and go on ahead and get that drilled. I'm going to go on ahead and grab my wires and M4 connectors and everything. I got a bunch of cutting and splicing that I have to do and everything, and crimping. We will go over that once I start getting to that point. And we're going to go on ahead, start getting everything wired, because right now I don't have my solar panels, which are going to be on this wall outside anyways. They're supposed to be in sometime this week, which I will not be able to get them anyways because I am flying out to go get my family. But I'm going to go on ahead and get these connected, so that way I can get my charge controllers connected, and I'm going to go ahead and get everything else connected with what wires I can. Have my power switch turned off and breakers and everything. Just go ahead and get what I can get wired up. I'll be more prepared, and I'll be able to run a wire into the cabin, so that way we will have power. So when my family's here, we have lights and what we need to be able to get by. And then that way I'll be able to get everything else completed and finished. But anyways, time to get at it. Now, while I'm taking all these parts out of the bags and everything, and I've got them separated, I was sitting there watching a video, and it didn't really give a lot of instruction. I just sat there and watched, and I just paid attention to the parts and the components. But the thing is when you take this nut off, which also has a seal here to hold the wire in place and everything, which also there is barbs along the side that when this gets pushed in, it will click and lock in place. But you don't have to push it in all the way. There's a hole in there, and you can sit there and you can feel it when it slides in. Now, if you do not know what you're doing, because when you sit there and receive this in a box, they're not in separate baggies. I went on ahead and separate everything, so that way I know what goes to what, and I know what part is what. But this fatter piece, if you go to try to slide it in here, it won't go. It won't fit whatsoever. So you know that this piece goes to this piece, and when you get inside the panels, the combination box, or if you look at solar panels and everything, this is supposed to be the positive wire, or well, at least the male end and female end. So you just got to look and see what you have on your combination box for wires. Like for instance, let me show you. Okay, you have your male, female. We're gonna go ahead and turn this, and there it goes. All right, what you can see, all your wires in here, what they go to. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start assembling. But another thing is too, you don't want to cut too much of the insulator off. You can see there's the crimp part here. That's as much as that you want to sit there and cut off. So I mean, you're talking about like 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, and that is it. Okay. Now another thing too, this tool here, this crimper, has a release here, but it also has a ratcheting effect, so it locks into place. Okay. Okay, felt it lock in. Take these special tools that come with the kit. Which seemed to hold on snug enough that once it's, with it being open like this, and this being closed, set on it, that it's kind of like, in a way, a torque wrench, that it just kind of just releases once you have it tightened enough. See, it just clicked, so go ahead and take that off. Go ahead and do the other one here. Another thing too, the way the jaws are set up, you want to make sure that this open end is facing down. Just like so. Okay. There we go. So I got several more of these I got to do, but what I'm going to do so I don't waste wire, I'm going to go on ahead and take them and I'm going to plug them in and then route them down and screw them into each charge controller individually, so that way I am not wasting any wire. There we go. There. There. Nice. Yes. Perfect. Okay, cool. Now here, we got two different wire staples here. That way I can try to keep this as organized as possible.
when these are the locks right here, them right there on the side, and they go into there, so that them prongs help release, so that way you can pull them apart. Because right here I had these ones over here, but I'm trying to keep the wires from crossing as much as possible to keep it as neat as possible. And that way, I mean, I can see what is going where, be able to keep it together, keep my wires all together. So, but yeah, nice thing too is, they're able to turn, and as you can see, they're already locked in place. But this right here is where you would take, and depending on what kind of spacing you have, that's why they have the prongs on the side as well as long ways. You're able to reach up here, push down on them, and it'll sit there and push them both in at the same time, and then you can release and be able to pull it away. Okay. By the way, the nuts on these bars are a 1/2 inch. So I don't think that if you were to put something on these studs here, because they're a longer stud for the cover, yeah, so you probably would need a deep well socket for those. These are just, your basic shallow well. By the way, I keep on having to put this in my pocket because it's so cold out that it's making it where it doesn't want to operate, so I've got to keep it warm. So apparently these lugs are 9/16.
All right, everybody. I'm going to call it a day. As you can tell, it is definitely dark out. Wind's picking up, so it's starting to cool off. But we got quite a bit done today. I got to go get a couple of lugs. So that way, and if you're wondering what a lug, it's these. They slide over. Actually, I got one right here, one spare, but I need several more. Let me get it out real quick for you. Okay. Right there. Sit there and splice your wire. Slide it in there. Take this crimper. Spring loaded to hold it in place. Sit there and slide it up and just put it in there and then hit it with a hammer to crimp it shut. And then it'll hold the wire in place. I got a few more wires that I have to get hooked up to the PV combiner box. And for the most part, that's it. I just got to get those batteries hooked up, which is why I need the lugs. I need 2 more lugs to be able to connect to that box, and then I need 4 more lugs to go from the batteries. Well, you know what? To go from that negative right there and that positive all the way over here to these bus bars. So I gotta be able to sit there and lug them into place. But and then of course, you know, the 2 lugs that I need to get on right there, which, let me turn the light on. As you can see, you got your positive and you got your negative. And then your AC ins and your AC out. So, anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I hope that I have explained things well enough for you to understand, because I mean, this is new to me, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. You know, a lot of times it just takes just getting into it. And once you get into it, you just figure it out, you know. I mean, you got to watch a few videos here and there and maybe ask a question or 2 or something to figure it out. But, you know, for the most part, at the same time, I mean, everything is labeled. Like even that off and on switch, which is this switch right here. On the inside, which I mean, I've already screwed to the wall and I've already connected both lugs to it. But this is the AC in. Actually, I wonder if I can, let me see if I can get a better angle of it for you. There you go. I don't know how well you can see the lugs in there. But there's 2 lugs. You got a bottom one, which is the AC in. You got the top one, which is the AC out. So, and then you got your battery and PV, which the PV is where your solar panel wires will be running in and plugging in. So, which those are supposed to be coming in this week, which I guess I'll have to either charge this system afterwards when I get back, or I'm going to have to take the generator and I'm going to have to wire up a wire, which I think is why they have that AC in right there. I should be able to run a wire out of this MultiPlus box here, so I can sit there and put a plug-in on it to be able to plug into the generator and to be able to sit there and charge the system. So, but they say this is a 14 kilowatt system with these 4 batteries. So by doubling it, I now have a 28 kilowatt hour system. So we should have more than enough power for what we need. And then even on our shady days or any days like that, you know, we should be able to sit there and do just fine. Plus, I haven't decided yet. I'm still doing research on it, especially pricing and stuff. Because I mean, whether to pay for electricity and run wire or to sit there and go off grid, it's expensive either way. And in all honesty, if you think about it, this off grid system, since it's going to cost you money anyways to get set up, this is the cheaper way because now you're producing your own electricity. You don't have an electric bill no more. So if you were to pay for them to sit there and run burial wire or power lines or whichever you have to do to sit there and get power out, now you're tied to the system. And then if they go down, you go down. At least for the most part. I mean, yes, things can happen. I get it. Batteries can go bad and things, but I mean, at the same time, these have warranties on them. All this system has warranties on them. And worst case scenario, it's one battery that goes down, and I have 2 sets of batteries here. And eventually, like I was talking about before, I'm probably going to end up expanding the system anyways. So, I mean, you have nothing to lose whatsoever. You have just so much to gain, especially the independence of not being tied to the system and being reliant on somebody else, especially since, I mean, so many people are complaining now, and I get it. I noticed it myself, but anyways, they were complaining because they have went from the analog meters to the digital meters, and everybody's power has went through the roof, all their bills, and they can't even report correctly on how much electricity you're actually using. So yeah, the digital system is able to be manipulated a lot more easily. I mean, that makes no sense how all of a sudden, a digital system, especially if it's the same rates that they're charging for, per watt and everything, all of a sudden everything is more expensive. So if you're looking into going off grid, I would definitely try to do everything I could to make sure you are off the grid and get your solar, get your room set up. I would definitely suggest, not saying that anything could ever happen, but that way it would give you peace of mind. So that way, just in case anything does ever happen, build your room off of the house. Like I'm building in the shipping container. This is all metal. So if you, have been a firefighter or studied firefighting at all and understand about how, fires work, well, electrical fires are one of the worst ones you have to deal with because, you can't just throw water on it. But yeah, this is going to be quite beneficial, and I feel like this is going to last a very long time. Definitely will keep everybody updated. I'll sit there and check the system as I'm monitoring it, see about usage and everything, and just see battery life on how everything is holding. Like even I'll try to remember. I'll probably end up forgetting, but you know what? Help me remember. Year or two down the road, hey, how's the system doing? Just sit there and comment, reach out, whichever you got to do. But anyways, I hope everybody's enjoyed the video. But I'm going to sit there and say goodbye, and I hope everybody does well. Take care.